All right.
Oh, wait.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming to our admin meeting for Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. And could you do a roll call for us?
I can.
Thank you.
Online, it looks like we have Andrew Chorney, Alicia Beckholtz, Emmy Bristow, Aaron Couts, Flana McLaverty, Jackson Lee, Kaylee Becker, Kelly McGuire, Kyla Leonards, Melissa Fisher, Violet Plummer, MCAT. In 206, we have Commissioner Slocknick, Strohmeyer, and Vero, Chris Lounsbury, and Brian West, Allison France, and myself, Annie Cathy.
Thanks. Looks like we don't have anything on the consent agenda. Do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda? All right, then we can jump right to action items. So our first action item is coming from Kelly McGuire.
Hi, everybody. This is a contract under the Safety and Justice Challenge grant. I apologize for the late date on it. It's a retroactive contract to January 1, just because we've been really swamped with grant applications and reports this winter. This is a continuation of an original contract from, I think, 2019. That was a 2-year contract. And because we got an extension on the grant, we're just extending this for 6 months. And the model's a little bit different with this. We used to pay for a full-time position. This would just be a contract with Western Montana Mental Health Center to hold 8 slots for chemical dependency evaluations for the Office of the Public Defender. It's only for 6 months, and then hopefully we'll be transitioning onto a sustainability grant in July, and OPD would take over that cost at that point is the hope. So I'd be happy to take any questions on the contract.
I don't have any. I move to renew the subrecipient agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you very much.
All right, Flana with a PSA.
Hi. Yes, I have a contract with RHD Inc. They will be consultants to engage residents of the West Riverside community to help determine what the community thinks about the current built environment of the neighborhood and to address potential opportunities for infrastructure deficiencies that might be coming up in the TED district. So yeah, projects are kind of underway there in the TED to start doing some development there, and there might be opportunities that would help the neighborhood. So yeah, they're gonna just like do some listening sessions, do some education pieces to talk about past projects and kind of dispel any myths that might be floating about, and then discuss kind of the current projects and opportunities, and then see at the end what the community wants. So submitting recommendations to us about what we should do moving forward.
Right. What's the time period? Oh, I see.
It's a 6 month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And is this 50,000 coming from the TED?
It is coming from the TED.
Fantastic.
Okay. I have a geography question. What's the boundaries of West Riverside? What's considered West Riverside?
So there is no formal definition because, of course, Riverside, West Riverside is not an incorporated.
Reno has signs, man.
It is not an incorporated community.
I don't think there's even a sign that says West Riverside.
So West Riverside, my understanding of West Riverside is basically it includes the area from roughly where the truck stop is through the home, the name of the bar there. It's right beside the railroad tracks.
Harold's Dine and Dance.
Harold's, thank you.
Oh,
Harold's Club.
It's the river.
No.
No, not across the river. So you're following Highway 10 West. Basically, you have the Bonner truck stop. As you enter into Bonner, West Riverside is that area basically where there's the market
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right, that's where the sign is for West
Yeah.
Riverside, is actually as you cross that bridge, and then basically goes up. And depending on whose definition you want to use, either includes the lumber mill or doesn't include the lumber mill, but it also includes what would be the south side of the railroad tracks there. And I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the bar that is there in the large white building. Nobody else can either, so that's okay.
it's now the Moose.
Okay.
But-
If that
There
helps.
we go.
Yeah, I would say, and those homes in that.
Okay.
basically.
Well,
And that's why I said there's no formal definition. That's the one we use in 911.
Okay.
really,
okay.
so I have always considered West Riverside on the, on this side of the Blackfoot River, including the west, the law,
The log mill,
Log-
but yeah,
the
the
log
start
yard,
of the Bonner.
West Log Yard.
Ted.
not the one that's all built out, the one that has the soundstage for Yellowstone. Is that what the one you're thinking? Okay, and then up against the hill, and then maybe
How far
as
is-
far west as Tamarack, maybe,
Oh, okay,
sort of.
got it.
But apparently definitions vary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that's the thing about it, is because it's not an incorporated community.
Yeah, no, thank you.
It's kind of like Piltsville is
Yeah.
the fire
right.
station and the 3 roads next to it, basically.
Okay,
Right, like that's a rough definition of Piltsville.
thanks.
Why am I
Glenn.
saying whatever?
Yeah, no, but I just wanted to figure out roughly who you're talking to. This is great, thank you.
Yep, mostly the neighborhood just north of the Bonner West Log Yard TED. So they're in the numbered streets by Zog Drive, like they're that
Mm,
really tightly packed neighborhood right there.
Yeah, yeah.
I move that we approve the PSA.
Yeah. Second,
All right, all in favor?
I
I.
just technically called the question, but.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Lana.
Thanks.
All right, Shane.
All right, good morning, commissioners. I have the contract with JAG Contracting for the construction of the Cheyron parking area.
Hey.
They were low bid. Their bid came in at $367,878. Engineer's estimate was $373,700. So they were right in line with where we expected that to be. They plan to begin construction probably March, April timeframe and finish up by June. They are
Exciting.
currently working on the Highway 200 retaining wall there, and as soon as they're finished with that one, they said they would jump on this project. So budget wise, I think that looks really good. I think we have right around $500,000 budgeted when you look at the county's funds as well as Mountain Lions funding. So we're well within that budget number when you include all the engineering that goes along with it.
How much is Mountain Line putting in?
20,000 for the bus
For the
stop.
bus stop.
Nice.
Yeah, it's glad they're covering their bus
Oh,
stop.
and it's a covered one. Is it a covered bus stop?
I don't think so, Juan. I think it's just a regular, just kind of a bus stop that has a flat spot for somebody to wait and get on the bus.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I would move that we approve the contract with JAG.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Thanks, Shane. It's been a long road. We're really excited to be at this point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jackson.
Good morning, commissioners. This contract is with DJNA for engineering, design, and construction management services to support the New Meadows Trail System project. This project will involve construction of a perimeter trail and connector trail at New Meadows Park, which is located east of Cody Lane and north of New Meadows Drive. These improvements will be consistent with the New Meadows Park Master Plan that was adopted in 2018. The primary funding for this project is from a grant award from the Recreational Trails Program in 2022. And if approved, we would move forward with design spring and summer and construct in the fall of 2023.
Fantastic.
seems like a good price.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good price.
Sounds good. I move that we approve the contract.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
I,
Thanks for your continued good work, Jackson.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners.
Kaylee.
Good morning. So this item is related to the grant we received from the DNRC for the 9 Mile reclamation work, the phase 6 of the project. And this item is just a vendor invoice. So as you know, the grant funds come to us and they're dispersed to Trout Unlimited. So these are expenses that Trout Unlimited incurred based on their work. And we just have to submit the invoice signed by the chair of the commission to DNRC in order to get those grant funds dispersed to us.
Is Howsam the right spelling? I was thinking Huson, but
I think this is different than.
they're totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, different than the town. It's the name of the old Placer Husum mining claim.
And do we have a tour scheduled?
I hope so.
Yes,
It was a while ago
You
that we went.
do. I just confirmed the date with Paul and Kyla. I want to say it's like May 31st. It's on the calendar,
Amazing.
on the BCC calendar for the afternoon. And yeah, it'll be a good tour.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, I move that the chair sign the invoice for costs related to the 9 Mile Husum Placer Phase 6 mine reclamation project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Aaron.
Good morning, commissioners. So my item is for to ask the board to approve the chair to sign our annual certification with Opportunity Resources for their annual state home program recertification of affordability. This is something that we have to do every year as a requirement for receiving the home funds that went into that program back in 2004. So yeah, I would be happy to answer any questions so for you.
Nope, I would move that we authorize the chair to sign the annual certification.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Aaron.
Great, thank you all. Have a great day.
Looks like we actually have some correspondence.
We do.
Allison, do you want to talk us through these?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Shane might still be on to talk about them.
Yeah.
About the Sharon parking lot. I think it's just a letter responding to a resident's concerns.
Shane.
Oh, the
is still
Nelsons?
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shane, maybe we can get Shane to talk
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah, yep. So February 9th, we received a letter from Linda Nelson, specifically just asking questions about the parking area, the proposed shade-around parking area. And this is simply just a response to her questions and comments. I don't know if you need more detail, but.
Nope.
No,
No,
Thanks
I'm
for
familiar
doing
with
this.
Yeah, thank you for
everyone.
getting back to her. The next one is on the Gateway Community and Recreation Enhancement Act.
Yeah, I'm happy to give a little intro on this one. So this is a support letter for the Gateway Community and Recreation Enhancement Act that was introduced recently by Senator Daines and Senator Angus King. The focus of the bill is to create a pilot program that would aim to relieve pressure for gateway communities, and then also would provide some potential avenues for improvements in infrastructure and facilities that you see high impacts from gateway, from recreation and gateway communities. And I think of note, typically gateway communities are defined as those communities near national parks. The definition in this bill has much more to do with just proximity to public land, making Missoula, and areas in Missoula County fit with the intent of this bill a little bit more, which is great. Yeah, that's all I've got. Any questions?
What are some of the mechanisms for relieving pressure?
It's not, as far as I could tell, it wasn't actually too specific. I think the big piece of this is implementing a pilot program that would use data on user location and be able to see in real time which areas are seeing really high use, like which trailheads are seeing high use, so that land managers could then start directing people to other sites to see less pressure on specific trailheads and kind of disperse recreation impact. And it wasn't, as far as I could see, wasn't too specific on mechanisms of how improvements would happen to like infrastructure in gateway communities, but it would like open up some more, I don't know, maybe formal channels of communication between departments and local government
So
to be
that
able to work through
real-time-
those issues.
That real-time data would be for land managers, not for tourists or recreationalists.
I think so. I will
I'm
just
not
preface
sure.
this, but I haven't
I don't think-
delved way
We,
into
we met,
this.
we met with one of Dane's staffers in Washington DC a week ago, and maybe I misunderstood. I thought it was.
It was, 'cause I wasn't there.
I thought it was for members of the public to,
You could open up your phone and be like, oh, look, it's really crowded in the Rattlesnake. I'll go to Blue Mountain.
Well, they're working on that, like creating this, because then, so say, okay, Glacier's really full, but you can go someplace near Glacier, and then there's concern that community that was near Glacier would have no support for the impacts there, and so they were really wanting to make sure that those folks are at the table and part of this planning process to make sure that the people who are receiving overflow have the support to handle it and where and what that overflow should look like and where people should
Well,
go.
it sounds like a good thing that in general, the federal government is recognizing the impact on communities that recreationalists have who flock to these specific places.
Yep, it could provide some new tools for
Great,
both
great.
people
Thank you for
using it.
writing the letter.
thank you.
Yeah, and I will give that to Allison. I didn't
Thanks,
write it.
Thank
Can't
you,
take
Allison.
credit.
So I'm not sure which person would talk about this next one on the city's raise grant.
Yeah, I don't know if Shane, I can't remember if he was involved in this one too.
It was John Sands.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so it's just a letter in support of the city's application for a raise grant, which I think is now what BUILD used to be. So it's a federal grant, just in support of addressing safety issues in the Higgins Avenue corridor.
Yeah, so Shane, do you mind if I just ask you an impromptu question?
Fire away.
Yeah, so I know we've been approached probably individually, I know I have, as why didn't you guys apply for a raise grant to finish what's going on out there at BUILD? Shane, could you answer that for the zillions of folks who are listening in right now?
Sure. No, and the city did in 2022, I think, 21, 22. They weren't successful. But I think there are a handful of things that we need to get done before we apply for another round of raise, or, BUILD at that time, but raise now. Right now, we don't have the corridor right away for George Elmer. That needs to be done. The city is currently working on a project to realign Grant Creek, and until we have Grant Creek realigned, it's going to be pretty challenging to get that bridge constructed. So, there's that timing component. We do have plans, and we could apply for another round for things like sidewalks on some of these streets that are being constructed today, because a lot of those don't have the sidewalks and bike lane facilities, and that's originally what the city applied for, kind of that the last round that they did. But I think when I look at this, if I'm reviewing applications, I'm going to make sure that the applicants already finished up the first round of funding that they've been successful with, and that they, have everything ready to go for the next round. And so until we are ready and we have this first phase completed, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to be applying for next rounds, especially when we don't have the right of way that we need for the entire project. So there's some things that need to be ironed out first, and when that's all done, I think it makes sense to keep applying. But for right now, I just don't think it's a good idea.
So the right of way stuff, is that what we're waiting because it's a private landowner's decision?
Yeah,
And
yep.
Okay.
And there's an element of risk in there, isn't there, Shane? If we were to take money to do the job and we didn't have the right of way yet?
That is one of our biggest risks, Josh. If we're not able to actively and accurately negotiate with these landowners and be successful, we can't build the project. And you can go through condemnation, but you've got to prove necessity, and that's gonna potentially be a challenge. And I've seen where necessity was able to be proved on a project, and I've seen where it's not. And when it's not, it just ends up being even more difficult to try to get a project built if you're not successful in that process. So makes sense to me, just get your right of way taken care of. And I think the property owners out there will work with us. We just need to make sure that it's taken care of before we apply.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Chris, anything from the legislature that you'd like to chat
So
about?
we're going to talk in depth tomorrow at 10 about the
Okay.
legislature, but
Great.
just as a reminder, this is Transmittal Week, so it's insane. Today is the last day of hearings, but
Long sigh.
I'm gonna say between Saturday, they didn't meet on Sunday, and yesterday and today, just as an example, we spent all day Saturday working on election bills. So Ann, myself, Jen, Hensley, and Bradley. So there were 14 election bills heard. No, sorry, 12 election bills heard that day. There are another 8 that have been heard since that. So those are still ongoing today in the last day of hearing. So 20 elections bills in the last 3 days.
And some of these are going to become law.
Some of these will become law, and some of them luckily died. And Jen, for example, was there Saturday at the legislature testifying on Missoula County's behalf on pretty much every single one of them from about 8 or 9 in the morning. I can't remember exactly what time they started. I think I dropped off the call around 3 in the afternoon, as I recall. So to say that it's the push would be to undersell what's been going on for the last 10 days.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah,
again.
so we'll talk more about the legislature tomorrow during chief officers.
Excellent. Okay, then I do believe.
Officially done with hearings.
Yeah, I do believe.
I have one announcement.
Oh, please.
Yes, so unfortunately for those of you out there who are not in the physical room here, we have on display the beautiful Explorer Maps of Missoula, Montana rendition of the Greater Northwest Passenger Rail Network. High resolution copies of this are available on the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority website at bigskyrail.org. This was on display in Carter's Brewing in Billings for a pint night we did last week, and check it out. We hope to have some portion of this come to fruition later this year.
Who did this? It's quite attractive.
Well, Explorer Maps.
Okay.
They're based here in Missoula. You've probably seen their maps in gift shops, airports. They do maps of all over the United States and around the world. These kind of artistic renditions of different places. So
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming, and I hope you have a fine Tuesday. See y'all later.
Bye.